to thank you all for having us here. On behalf of Edmund and Brian, we are incredibly honored to be with you all here for the NAFA debate. As the chairperson indicated, this is our last tour, or our last stop on the tour, and we have had such an incredible time here in Japan because of the hard work of many people. So first and foremost, we'd like to thank the Japan Debate Association for coordinating everything and ensuring support for this tour. We are very, very grateful for this opportunity. Thank you. I will now begin my speech. Contention 1 is inherency. The consumption tax cannot pass the Diet. This is according to Yomiuri Shimbun on May 31st, 2012. Noda failed to persuade Ozawa to support a hike in the consumption tax. Ozawa remained opposed to the tax rate increase. Therefore, it is unclear whether the bills can pass through the Diet. Noda told Ozawa, quote, "Considering the declining birth rate and graying of the nation, I believe raising the consumption tax rate is a very urgent task, end quote. Contention 2 is our debt crisis advantage. First, failure to raise the consumption tax risks downgrade of Japanese credit. This is according to the Wall Street Journal on May 30th, 2012. Prime Minister Noda failed to double the sales tax, which could further erode confidence in the nation's fiscal policy and invite a credit downgrade. And the European crisis proves that Japan is next. This is from Fujii on January 30th, 2012. Hot money that is now targeting Europe will soon be attacking Japan. It's right around the corner. Our situation is far worse than in Southern Europe or the United States. And a credit downgrade would devastate the Japanese economy. This is according to Smith in 2011. Japan is really on the brink. A new credit downgrade will be devastating to their economy. Standard & Poor's said that Prime Minister Noda's administration hasn't made progress in tackling the public debt burden, an indication that it may be preparing to lower the nation's sovereign grade. Thus, Edmund and I offer the following plan. The Japanese government should double the consumption tax by 2015. Contention 3 is solvency. First, raising the consumption tax would solve the public debt crisis and ensure an extension of welfare programs. This is according to Nakamoto on March 30th, 2012. The Japanese government took a long-awaited step towards tackling the country's huge public debt by submitting legislation to the Diet that would double the consumption tax by 2015. This is an issue we cannot postpone, Mr. Noda said. Japan's rapidly aging society requires urgent measures to balance the burden of paying for social welfare among all members of society. And only a consumption tax can prevent Europe-style meltdown and the cancellation of benefits. This is according to Tabuchi on May 22nd, 2012. Japan could eventually face a debt crisis akin to that afflicting Europe, and Noda is staking his job on a plan to double the consumption tax to 10%. That increase is necessary to pay for soaring welfare costs and pension payments. And a perception of the tax alone will reassure foreign investors. This is according to Tabuchi on May 22nd, 2012. A lack of new policies to stabilize public finances could lead to a further downgrade, but it also said that progress in fiscal policy could lead to better ratings. The OECD joined the finger-wagging over Japanese debt, urging Tokyo to stick to its plans for a tax increase. A top priority is to implement the government's proposal to hike the consumption tax rate. And finally, the aging crisis in Japan will destroy its savings. This is according to Rimkus on April 19th, 2012. As people become old, they tend to spend their savings rather than accumulate more. Already about 30% of Japan's population is elderly. According to a study, savings rates in Japan decline markedly after people turn 50 years old. I now stand